be minutely connected to having an affair. So if you follow men, if you're a woman and you follow men on your Instagram and you cheated on your husband, you better delete all the men off your Instagram. If you keep secret passwords, whether you think your husband or your wife is going to go in and check everything, get rid of your secret passwords. So the first thing is to remove any glimpse of what could have caused. It's like going from screen to screen to screen. So Jim, I would say the first thing that you need to do is, so you guys have all heard about Life 360, tracking where your partner is. Now we use something similar to that, not because I think that he's going to be anywhere that he shouldn't be, but there's absolutely nothing to hide. He knows where I am. I know where he is. He answers. If I call him, he answers. If I want access to his Instagram, his email, I don't check any of that shit. But if I wanted to, I could. We don't have a betrayal. If
Yeah.
there was a betrayal, he would need, I joked to my women, I said, if my husband cheated on me, the depths that he would need to go to make me trust him again, I would have to have him locked in the basement with no access to cell phones, no emails.
I'd be like,
I'd have to
sweet.
gouge his eyes out and cut off his hands. That is what I would need to do.
Notice
think
which
about,
part she kept aligned to the body.
because that's only I have control. I have control over that. So Jim, if there's even a glimpse that she could think that you're watching porn, you have to get rid of it. If you cheated on your wife, if you cheated on your husband, remove any, even if it's like far-fetched, remove the reference. Do you hang out with the opposite sex? If you're nodding your head yes.
Steps that I've taken already. These things that you're talking about, I've got an accountability application.
Good. Okay.
So Jim,
So then it goes back to connection then.
Earlier you cut out when I asked you how long ago did you quit porn?
A year.
A year. That's pretty awesome. Congratulations, man. So when we look at the length of time, I just want to know that for me, okay? That has nothing to do with her. We don't get to decide what hurts her, okay? Now, that's because that's tied to like her whole past. Now, when we start to look at the man and the reason why, she'll start to trust you again. That's why I talked about understanding. Just human trafficking is just a basic thing, okay? But when you can start to realize the freedom, don't you feel a lot more free, not confined and chained to the porn?
Stop asking us to co-host, you guys.
You do, right?
I don't feel like it's a problem for me anymore, but I can't say that it's not a problem for her. Like you said, I can't choose what hurts her.
That's right. Now, hold on. Stay with me for a second in the line of thought, okay? So you are free from porn. If you understand the why and you start teaching that why, like I just gave you two, man. You got to go deep for you, okay? But if you don't want to support human trafficking, you actually believe your children, your unborn child is about to have a better world because you're fighting against that fight, okay? That's one. Two, you're not confined to, you're not chained to porn anymore. You're not, in other words, you don't need your wife's vagina to survive. She doesn't need to manage your emotions. You can create a safe place for her to live, etc. Okay, both of those things are just two. You come up with your own list, okay? Now, and if we were coaching, we go deeper. But like if you can imagine now, what do you do with that information? Take that list and help others walk away from it. What other men do you lead? See, every man wants their wife to follow, but nobody's following you. Nobody. I don't know you, Jim. Maybe some are. Go do more. Right? Have conversations. It really is. See, the thing is, like, I can't possibly treat Kathryn the way I used to when I used to abuse her so much.
Because I'd cut his eyes and hands off.
Besides the risk, I can't. She knows that I won't. She gets to feel safe because I'm not that same guy. She hears me every day teaching somebody and my behavior aligns. If your behavior aligns, you're not using porn and you're walking men away from the ledge. By the way, that ledge will go deeper. You know, have you figured out how that ties to sleep deprivation and the lack of health? You can go further and further and further, especially if you want to start figuring out how that affects your bottom line and how much money you're making in your home. Right? Like you can go further. And if you actually cared and understood this shit, this is why I say we don't have to teach you to apologize. Right? What we have to do is teach you to understand the why, and your actions will be the apology. I'm not saying don't apologize, but it makes no sense if your actions, all of them, don't align. So when you talk about
in this past year, I've tried to display my actions.
Is there two in the host room? What does that
like you said, making sure there's no hint of anything going on.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to do that, and I still feel like I'm at square one. But like I said, we got a little one on the way. We're better together today than what we were last month, and even better than 6 months ago, and even better than a year ago.
Okay, Jim, here, let me give you this, buddy. Let me give you this. How long does it take to fix a bad marriage? You know, at the end of the day, you're going to see it get better and better and better and better. When something happens, it's going to make you feel like it's the weight of the world. It's going to come down on you. She's right back to the porn thing, let's say. Okay? She's right back to accusing you, right back to feeling insecure. You're not there to fix it. You're there to move it to the next level. Whoever's we think it should be men. Whoever's the one that's watching is the one that's in, typically. Okay? And you're the one asking, so you're definitely in. You take it to the next level. Now, you will still find breakthrough later. We still have breakthroughs. Like we spoke at an event, I don't know, in November, I think it was, and I was like, what if it takes 4 years? Well, Kathryn had major breakthrough with me because of 5 years later. Okay. And actually, a lot of it was the 10 years. It was the beginning. Your job is to create the safe place so that she can get those feelings out with all that betrayal. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's part of my problem, though, is I fail to see she can get those feelings out, but I don't know that she will.
That's your job to create that space. The rock, the lighthouse, the shoulder to cry on. I didn't make those up. You got to be a leader, man.
Yeah.
So how do you handle it when and we're going to go to the next caller, but how do you handle it, Jim, when she comes at you and she's accusing you of cheating, looking at somebody, elevating a woman, watching porn, going through your emails, looking at your phone every night? A wife checks a phone every night. That's a common thing men search. My wife checks my phone every night. How do you handle it during all of that?
Come honestly. Tell her how it is. Tell her where I'm at.
This is the mistake you're making, though, Jim. Jim,
pay attention.
Jim,
pay attention.
Jim. This is the mistake you're making. When she comes at you with big emotions and you say, I'm telling her, I don't actually care what is the last part of that sentence. What you need to do is listen and hear her, because she comes at you with an accusation, but that accusation has a big feeling behind it. So telling her how it is, telling her X, Y, Z, I don't care what is telling her. I don't care what you're telling her. You need to ask her. You need to get curious. You need to listen to her with the purpose of understanding. Not with that. You're even doing it to me right now. You're not even listening to me. How do you feel when I check your reality like that?
Call you up.
Yeah.
Because if it was working for you, what you're doing, you wouldn't be calling us, right?
So what you're describing is something you could do to be proactive. You know, if I betrayed Kathryn, which I did in many ways, just not an affair, but if I betray her, I have to be proactive and let her know what's going on. So you need to let her know. You know, you don't go to bed at the same time, let's just say. I'm just making the story up, okay? But you say, baby, this is what I'm going to do tonight. You want to join me? See, she's going to say, well, no, I want to go to bed. And if you need to do whatever you're doing, you might do it, but you're being proactive. Then what Kathryn is talking about is when she comes at you, you don't be defensive. Don't think you've already done it all. Because like she said, if it was working, it would be working. What you need to do is hear her. And don't try to convince. Yes, don't try to convince. You're not here to sell yourself from your mistakes. No matter what the mistake is, guys. Forget just porn. Whatever your mistake is, you're not here to sell them. They want a refund, man. That's it. Your job is to believe in who you are, and actions will align. That's it. Not actions aligning with words. Notice I didn't say that. Over and over, you're proactive. Over and over, you're safe for her. Over and over, you don't make the mistakes that remind her of that. I had a one-on-one client not too long ago. We had him for like a year. And we would talk to him and say, man, if you're going for a meeting with a woman, just let her know. If you're driving to a different city with another woman, let her know. You know, like if she's feeling scared and she's worried, why are you saying, I'm not that guy? I haven't done that in the past. Or sorry, I haven't done that since the past. Like, why? Give her what she fucking needs.
And then don't put her in that situation.
That's the key right there. Telling her is better than not telling her, but not doing it is better than even telling her.
Yeah.
And we do have to, let's go to the next caller though.
We do.
Are you getting value from this, Jim? Or are you picking up what we're putting down?
Yeah, thank you both. I'll be looking forward to a call from one of your representatives.
Do you know what? If you, yeah, Kathryn got your number.
We'll text you directly.
Yeah, we'll text you directly. Okay.
Oh, sure, even better.
Yeah,
All
we'll
right.
text you.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Rick, 9010.
Hey, Kat.
I
Hey,
love
Kathryn,
this.
how you doing?
How you doing, Rick?
Hey,
Thanks for
Rick.
your patience. Getting your wife to accept her 10% responsibility over your 90. What a question.
Great question.
So I think you've listened to the podcast. You're trying to grow as a man. We always say we don't know what we don't know, right? So you decide to dive in and learn, and you're growing, and your wife is she coming at you pretty hard, man?
No, so like I hooked up with you guys maybe about a year ago, and like grew from the book, and my relationship has been tenfold better. Kath, you convinced me to leave porn off the table, and that has changed my life.
I love it.
And I preach it. I preach it to my men that work under me, and it's really good. But I just still, and we've been seeing a marriage counselor, and I've grown from that. But when we go together, I shoot myself in the dick every time.
Whoa.
So
do you mean what? Like it starts to trigger you in there, and you don't hold yourself as the new man when you're in there?
I just turned super defensive, and I tried to be empathetic and take responsibility for my past actions.
Rick, pause, because your question has moved from you taking 90% and her taking her 10% responsibility, and it's moved to something crazy chaotic, dude. So I try not to be super defensive, but I'm trying to be empathetic. You see how that doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, please.
So the first mistake that you're making, and you might not even have recognized this, but it's just nuanced in your question, getting your wife to accept her 10% over your 90. There's no getting your wife to accept her 10%. She will accept her percent, and it will be greater than 10 when she softens to you taking responsibility for your 90.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were truly taking responsibility for your 90, she would feel safe enough to look at herself, to reflect on the things that she has done, and then take responsibility for them. And I know that you're probably getting the 10% and the 90% from us.
For sure. Yeah.
And you might be very similar.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so you might be very similar to us. But when he took responsibility for his 90%, it allowed me to say, okay, well, your 90% wouldn't have been so high had I done things differently. So I still do believe that I was 10%. But if I would have handled that 10% differently, it would have been a completely different story. So getting is the wrong word. You do want to influence her, but the way that you influence is by showing up as the new guy. So you say you're trying to be empathetic, and then when you're empathetic and she speaks, you feel attacked. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And when you feel attacked, you identify that you get defensive. That's called the cycle of attack and defend. And you shoot yourself in the dick, is what you said. Because now you're stuck in this cycle. Here you are trying to be empathetic, and in your eyes, and I'm just speculating here, when you're empathetic, it opens up the door for her attack, and then you regret being empathetic because now she's attacking you, and you thought if you were empathetic, she would accept your apology and your empathy and things would be different. That's you speculating. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, you're hitting the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, baby.
Okay, so Rick, I want you to think about this. Do you remember you read the section of my book about invisible contracts, covert contracts?
Yes.
Okay, so you don't know it right now, but what you're doing is you're giving your wife empathy and expecting, entitled to her moving forward and taking responsibility, right? So I'm taking responsibility. I'm going to love you and give you an understanding, the safety that you're trying to create for her, okay? But it's a contract. So it affects, she knows it, you know it, and it affects exactly what's happening. You just don't know you're doing it, but you're trying to get, we talked about this, we coached on this today. You can't give empathy. You have it or you don't. I don't have empathy. I'm a recovered narcissist. I have to, if Kathryn's one of her, like, she got the farm back there. If a bunch of chickens die, that happened recently, I don't feel that. But if I try to put myself in her situation and understand, okay, well, for me, it's like if I lose Kathryn, if something were to happen to her, now I'm like, oh, fuck. Okay. I'm not saying that I compare to the chickens. It doesn't matter. I have empathy then. Well, and I would say it's more compassion. But, you know, most of you will be able to cultivate empathy, right? Unleash it. And it is a superpower, but it's not about giving it to her. It's about having it for yourself. It's your strength. It's where we say rubber meets the road and you can actually start to connect with your partner again. No contracts, man.
Okay.
That make sense?
Check it. Yeah, I do.
So you read the book, you listen to the podcast, and is your wife listening to the podcast, or you just listening to the podcast, or
No, it's just me.
it's just you? So how long you been doing? You said about a year now. You've been kind of diving in, trying to grow.
I don't know. I said I could look at my first message with you. I think it was like, about a year and a half ago, maybe.
We've got a lot more available on our app. Go in there and talk to Dennis Emmett, the president of our company.
I've talked to him before.
Let's get a plan going, man. You're not moving anywhere. You know, if you know anything about me, I like rapid. If you want it, if somebody else has it, fuck, you can have it. You know what I mean? And
What's your biggest roadblock to getting us to help you and being in the program?
Before, like when I first hooked up with you guys, it was just financial. I was losing my business at the same time. As going through marriage stuff. And like, I think now maybe it was just, if I had to put something to it, it'd be like, I just don't want to be the only one trying.
Okay, so let me speak to that. I'm trying so hard, but my partner's not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There is either a person who knows who they are and is following through, or there's not. You know, I talked to some men today, and it seemed like the whole coaching call went to like how I'm growing and she's not. Okay. First and foremost, you need to be more patient with your partner and more impatient with yourself. Second of all, you don't get to decide what hurts. And thirdly, like some of the stuff can be terrible. We talked about some women who are not, they were checking out from the kids even right now, right? That's gross. That's what women are built the opposite. That's gross. She's partying, drinking, ignoring the kids, sleeping in, doesn't care about school. Like that's gross, right? Just like it was gross for us when we weren't involved, stepping over sippy cups, fucking leaving everything in marketplace pickups to fucking scheduling the full world. Like it's all gross. We're supposed to be adults, right? But what I really truly believe is this: like, how long have you shown up? You don't get to decide how much it hurts her. If you heard,
Well, and you're not showing up. I'll answer that question for
That's
Rick.
good,
You're not
that's
showing
good,
up.
It's good.
You're at therapy trying to show up. You're trying to white knuckle empathy. And then 3 seconds go by and you're right back into the opposite of empathy.
Remember, you compared empathy to defensiveness.
That's why I said the opposite.
Yeah, it doesn't make
So
any
it's
sense.
not, you're trying to be empathetic, but it's not ringing true for her.
So
she's not softened yet. She's not going to take her. And if it truly is 90 and 10%, then you have some work to do.
And by the way, when we say 90 or 10, just because you're the dude, you're the leader. You know,
like some women need to take 90% also.
I think that's true.
But it's more important for the man to take, even if it's only 10.
But a man's 10% being an asshole is going to blow past what she's doing to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we had this new breakthrough at Christmas time where, like, it was all about how I hurt Kathryn in the beginning. That was still there for her. No matter how strong we are, how many of you are following on the content, you love the content, how much you listen to podcasts and you grow this thing with us and like buying the book and joining our programs. But there was some pain for Kathryn to deal with. Dude, if I looked at it like the way that you're looking at it, I'd be like, well, fuck, I obviously took responsibility for who I was. And now we're here 10 years later and there's a problem. Go back to the man with the porn issue. Like, it's the exact same thing. I don't get to decide what hurts Kathryn. But the next day when we were talking about it, I asked her the same question 3 times in a row. And when it was, what was the biggest reflection you got? She said, I was safe enough to tell you anything that I wanted to say. It fucking sucked. That's getting her to take responsibility for her 10%. She gets to get it all out, and then fuck. I mean, you've been on fire with your growth since then.
Oh, thank you,
know,
baby.
like, and I thought she was like full grown.
Full grown. You're never full grown, guys. You're never full grown.
You never are. Rick, does that make sense, dude?
It does.
So I challenge you also to look at. Well, you're welcome. You know, I'll challenge you as well. Therapy doesn't fucking work. It's not modern, man. It's old school, and we watch statistics grow. We're getting into corporate, like we're going into businesses and trying to move them and understand why their bottom lines are sucking. It's not their sales training, for example. It's not their health benefits. It's like, if you understand that somebody going through divorce is 5 weeks absent from work, even when they're in the building. Okay. That 70% of people are going to work intoxicated legally, and it's because they have some form of addiction. Right? There's all this shit that we need to understand. It's because relationship is the foundation. If you want to take responsibility, truly take responsibility for yourself, you start to really pay attention to this stuff. Because you're waiting for her instead of leading her. Dude, if you want to be empathetic, fuck, man, I don't even understand what that fucking means, except for what I learned from how to teach it. But man, I love my wife. And I love to understand her. That should be exciting for you. You don't need to be defensive all the time. And you should also hate that part about you. So I want you, homework for you, Rick, is as you try to become the new man, I want you to start thinking, does it align with the goals that I have? Because if you want to be connected and talking, laughing, dreaming, achieving with your wife, then why aren't you just patient and asking her questions? Because right now you're fighting. You don't even know each other. Make sense?
Yeah, it does.
All right, give me a second, please, Rick. Guys, 1-888-568. Sorry, 1-888-968-5635. Call in and let's go. Let's get your questions answered. Okay?
And also, we're not actually going to be on for 2 hours. We didn't really think about the fact that the sun is going to go down.
Oh, I did.
So we will.
After.
You did.
Not
Yeah, we
for
won't
today.
be on. We won't be on until 7.
Yeah.
So if you want to ask a question, you have to do it now.
Yeah, get your
Speak
questions
now
in.
or forever hold your peace.
You guys, and also you never get Kathryn and me unless you pay for one-on-one
Which
coaching,
is a lot of money.
We don't even accept a lot of people. A lot of money or not, we don't even accept.
Everybody can afford group coaching. One-on-one coaching. To get both of us, it does cost you a lot of money. So you have us right here.
So this is where we're going to go into it. Okay. So let's get your questions out there. Please not through the chats. Call the number 1-888-968-5635. Now, Rick, since we don't have anybody calling in, do you want to go a little longer here? Where's your mic?
Yeah, I'm on here.
Yeah, I don't care. Go for it.
I don't know.
Well, do you know what? I can go through.
Am I diabetic?
I can go through some of the
no, my nails are just painted red.
And then, Rick, if you think of something, just let us know, okay? But he's not being his authentic self. Somebody says, "Are you guys open-minded?" Okay.
It's not about you not being your authentic self.
No, he's talking about Rick, I think. Yeah.
No, he's talking about somebody that was before that, about their husband not wanting to be in. You have to read the whole chat.
Oh, I don't have time for that shit. See, that's why you guys got to call. Are you guys open-minded? I don't know what you mean by that question. That is such a vague question. Some of you guys have to realize, if you want your life to change, never mind just marriage, every area of your life, if you ask a vague, open question, you can't even ask yourself something serious then. What does that mean? Open-minded. Like, we talked about swinging in the opening call. Somebody asked about swinging as a joke.
Open marriage.
Open marriage.
We're not open to that.
No, we're not. But that's specific. Open marriage. Open-minded? No. What day is it today? It is Wednesday. I don't judge on Wednesdays. Yeah, fucking right. Listen, I saved my marriage from the depths of hell. My wife has come leaps and bounds, and she didn't have to change anything but the 10%. Like, fuck, like.
My 10% was vicious.
But it's bad 10%. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, be specific with your questions, or you're not going to get anything ever in your life.
We have another person in the queue, though, baby.
All right.
Rick, we're going to have to say goodbye. We hope that you do join the program. Reach out to Dennis Emmett on our mobile app called Morrow, and we'd love to get you in the program.
We have Jill coming on here, who's You're welcome, Rick. Thank you.
Well, you have to do.
I
You
know.
have to do
I
Michelle
know. We have
first.
Jill coming on talking about betrayal and dishonesty. So it looks like that's hot topic today. So I just wanted, before I bring Jill on, guys, I just wanted to say this, that a lot of times betrayal, we assume it's affairs. And affairs, like 23% of men have affairs before they're married, 19 women. Okay. Once marriage happens, it's 13% women and 19% men. So if an affair is happening in your life, you are pushing your partner to where it's safer. You're not fun to be around. You suck. You have a problem. And I'm not saying it's your fault because we'll deal with their core values too. Okay. But what I'm saying is affairs often make people want to victimize themselves. And we have to remember that if we want to get over Jill's question here, it's going to come up with betrayal and dishonesty. We've got to understand that we play a part in creating that story. Okay. You write your own chaos, is what, in other words. Okay. I'm going to bring Jill on here. Whoops.
Why are you not bringing Michelle on?
I missed Michelle.
Michelle, we'll get to you.
Excuse me.
We're gonna get
Michelle
to you
will
right
come
after.
to you right after. Hi, Jill. You have a question about betrayal and dishonesty. How can we help you?
Well, I have about 1 million, but let me figure out the most important one.
Yes, ma'am.
My husband has been taking your coaching since the fall.
Oh.
And, I catch snippets of things and I watch your podcast and all that, and you guys are spot on, 1,000%.
Oh, thank you.
I can't even tell you how happy I am. I've been able to say things that I haven't been able to say in years because I haven't been afraid to now because you all are saying it.
Isn't that wonderful? Thank
I
you.
appreciate that. It's awesome. It's wonderful. This has been a 27-year relationship and separated physically for 4, out of the bedroom for 8. And it has, it's fighting every day. And yeah, y'all get the message, but here's number one. When I bring something up that hurts me or puts me back to square one, if another lie is said, lying is huge here. I can't get across to him that you are keeping me at square one. Well, I don't always lie all the time. Okay, well, it doesn't matter that it's sporadic, that you're honest. It has to be all the time. I cannot build trust without that.
Jill, that's so powerful. I
can almost guarantee I'm gonna disagree with what he says.
I think for so long, probably not. For so long, what you're saying, it reminds me of what Kathryn would say to me. Like every time, let's say, I'll use an example like sex. Every time why are we having more sex? Like, what the fuck? I have needs. This is, like you used to want me. Like, why don't you want me? Blah, blah, blah. And she'd look at me and she'd be like, this is not helping. Right? And so my point is, we would get into arguments and that level, that volume, that anger, that rage, the physical stuff. I stopped throwing things and trash in the house. I stopped going after her. And it got better and better and better. And I would always say to Kathryn, I'd be like, I'm not fucking yelling. I'm passionate. Like, I know what the level of aggression is. What I'm getting at with your husband, and then we'll find out if Kathryn's disagreeing or not. But what I'm getting with your husband is, if we're still making a mistake that's basically the same mistake, it's not going to change anything. And I think that's what you're feeling right now, right? It's close enough, or it's the same mistake if we're talking about lying. It's not even like yelling less, right? Is that what I'm understanding right now?
Well, his claim to fame right now is that he is yelling less. He's holding on to his temper, so he's doing a great job. Well, that's helpful. I appreciate that, but that's baseline and it's expected anyway. But I can't move off of square one when there's no trust.
Yeah,
I don't believe a word he said.
Yeah, so I'm surprised. So you don't tell me who he is, but how long has he been in my program?
Since the fall, she said.
The fall? Okay.
It's been since the fall.
Yeah, so he should have, I teach that right in the program. I don't think it's in the book, but it's right in the program. Like, baseline normal won't change the wounds and the heels, and healing the past. And then to top it off, like, you can't praise yourself. Nobody gives a fuck about who you're going to be and how great you are. We only care about how you make us feel.
When I say that.
Yeah. Go, baby, go.
Okay. Are you ready? Because I disagree with what Kat said. Are you ready?
Here we
Are you
go.
ready, Jill? So you said that you can't thank us enough because of how things changed. And then in the same sentence, you said you go back to square one. I want to just give you a mindset shift and get you to shift your heart posture right now.
Ooh, you're
Because
sexy
it's
right now.
impossible for you to go back to square one if you've had growth. Now, here's the way I coach my women. When you have growth, I want you to always be ready for the shoe to drop. not because you think that he's going to fail, but the moment that you have progress and you think, okay, we've made it feels really good. And then the moment he makes a mistake, it's probably not, the lie probably isn't as bad as the lies he used to tell. But because you get triggered of the old lies, a small lie feels like a mountain instead of a molehill. And then you feel like you're back at square one. But it is impossible with the growth that, even though you didn't give us much of the details, it's impossible for you to go all the way back to the beginning because he's not the same guy. He has made changes. You're not even the same woman because he's influencing you to change. So I want you to think about where your heart posture is. I
That's
want you to
gold.
think about
It's gold.
where your mind is because yes, I don't want to justify the lying, and what Cass said is the way that he would teach the man. Nobody cares about who you say you're going to be. We care about who you are. But who are you, Jill? How are you going to edify him when maybe it's a longer period of time that he didn't lie? Where's the grace? Where's the mercy? Because this is old habits die hard.
Well,
And it's not the same. It's
and-
not square one.
And let's use your other example with the yelling because you piggybacked off of mine, right, Jill? I love where you went with this, baby. You're brilliant.
Oh, thank
But
you,
like,
baby.
if you, thank you, baby.
Where's your
if you,
lips?
oh, focus.
Gosh.
If you think about how you recognize like what he's saying, the yelling, it's not as bad as it used to. I think if you look at the heart posture that Kathryn's talking about, you probably realize that it isn't as loud. It's maybe longer gaps. He's not
It still
pacing
hurts.
as much. I'm not saying if for you, it will feel like it's the exact same thing. And that happened to Kathryn with me too. Okay. But actually, Kathryn gave me a line. She used to say, like, how can I trust you if it just happened yesterday? And I'd be like, fucking yesterday. It was like months before it happened or whatever. You know what I mean? So going
That's
with
why
that.
I teach things differently because I did it wrong, you guys. I teach you how to do it in a way that I wish someone would have taught me.
So going with that, Jill, what do you think about that? Like, could you accept that he's probably trying to tell you the truth, but maybe he's afraid to tell you the truth because of the posture that you have when you go back to him? Because you're watching him change and you're watching him grow. Could you lift him?
I'm not seeing it, and the lying is it's habitual, chronic, compulsive, pathological. So by square one, I mean, I have no greater sense of trust than I've had all along the way after the major betrayals, the minor betrayals. I can't trust at all.
So
At all.
if it's habitual and it's pathological, did he lie when you first got together with him?
Yes.
Okay.
So the first sentence out of his mouth was a lie. Yeah.
Okay, so expecting this to be different is actually pretty unrealistic. Are you choosing to stay with him?
Well, I'm planning on filing.
You are? Okay, so nobody's going to fault you if you want to get a divorce because your husband's a habitual liar.
Especially because it's characterological. It's who he is from the beginning.
So
If what you're saying is real.
And it's not that he can't change, but he's choosing not to. Okay, but you're also allowing his lying to hurt you. Is that true?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
So,
look, if you were in Kathryn's program, she'd be walking you through how you stop that, right? Like it's a lot for a call right now. I know we said we're coaching on these calls, but like if you understand, like the way that you lift him could make him want to tell the truth more. The way that you support him when he does tell the truth. We could use an example of children when we teach you how to be better parents, for example, stuff that we also have to work on hard. Okay. We would say, does the consequence align with the action? In other words, is the punishment fair?
Tried that. I have tried. I've said, I appreciate you telling me the truth. Thank you for being honest. I have done that. But it's so inconsistent and
It's not about thanking him for telling the truth. That is valid and important. But what's the consequence after? See the pain that you're feeling. And I want you to reflect on this. You wouldn't be able to do this in 1 minute or two. You need to really think. Go back to the last 50 lies. Like, I mean it. Go do some fucking work, Jill. 50 lies. Okay. And think about how you handled it.
and are you catastrophizing?
Because here's the thing. If he knows that deep down by telling you the truth, he's fucked anyway. I know that he has his own work because he's characterological. He's been lying from the beginning. Okay. I know it. And yes, he can unlearn that. Kathryn and I, we went through the exact same thing. She used to be like, oh, really? Show me the proof. Like,
Oh, because he used to lie.
I used to lie about everything.
Everything.
It's
And
because
I'd be like, I know that's not true.
it's because your husbands are trying to prove their own self-worth to themselves and you're in the crossfire. So you, just like I say, insecurity is a gift right now. He could give that gift to you. He could help you trust and he could bridge your connection. I think that we're the only people in the world that talk about this, by the way.
I forgot
Okay.
that you still lie so much
I fuck all the time.
because he doesn't lie anymore.
No, in fact, if I'm on a coaching call or if I'm talking to you guys, if I say something, it comes out of my mouth because it's still ingrained.
Or to me,
I'll be like, that's a lie.
that's a lie. I don't know why I
I
just
put my
said that.
hand up every fucking time.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of work. But also, if you want the key, Kathryn was a catalyst for a lot of that kind of change for me. I would call that a subtle change, even though it's big.
Mhm.
But it's because it's so we don't think about it, this nice guy. We just live our life trying to prove our self-worth, trying to feel good enough. So just like he could bridge the gap, and he's apparently not if he's been in the program since February, okay, or sorry, since fall. You said fall. Then you maybe want to take the step. You say, well, I'm thinking about divorce and leaning towards it. Well, you're on this call because you want more, Jill. I would suggest that what if you could bridge the gap by making it safe for him to tell the truth?
Mhm.
See, it can't tie to all the other lies. It's just awesome. It's not thank you for the one thing. It's how can you build them after each thing.
It's confusing for me.
Is it confusing?
It's confusing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, men and women need to stop being so confused. It's who you are. Right now, you're thinking about maybe getting a divorce because
I'm brutally honest. I have no problem at all. In fact, I feel like more of a scum walking if I even partially fraudulent. So I don't understand the concept of it.
yeah, so we can appreciate that, but what I'll say is this: if just because you have a value doesn't mean it has to be someone else's value. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't all have a value. I don't even think honesty is a good core value. Should be transparency. Should be able to be held accountable to the honesty, right? But people throw shit out like that, like respect and honesty and integrity. Fuck it. They don't even know what it means, man. You know. But just because you have that doesn't mean you get to put that on them. See, his core values right now are really surrounded about feeling like surviving.
Mhm.
And he doesn't even have core values, by the way. I'm just giving him the benefit of the doubt. But guaranteed,
Well,
if he's
everybody
trying-
has core values.
Yeah.
We just don't know what his are, but
That's
they
right.
aren't the same as yours. I believe that a difference in core values is one of the reasons that people should get divorced. If you cannot compromise.
But lying doesn't have to be one of those.
No,
That's a
because he has
skill.
control over that.
It's a skill he can learn to tell the truth. That's
And
all it
it's a
is.
symptom
It's a
of
skill.
something.
It's a symptom of whatever.
Afraid of the consequences of telling the truth or learning how to build himself up because he didn't have anything truthful to use to build himself up. Insecurity.
So here's a topic that gets called up all the time. Wife wants a divorce, but I don't. You're talking about leaving because you can't handle the lying. You can't handle the lying today, and it's hard to love him. Would you agree, Jill?
Yes, more than just lying. But
No, I know, but let's stick. We can go deeper, but let's stick to that theme for a second. So he learned to lie because his parents beat him. I don't know your husband right now because I don't know who he is. Okay, they beat him. They showed him the example of lying. If he got in trouble, I talked about a man the other day getting his 9-year-old son getting beat, pulled out of school to getting beat for trashing the classroom. Beat 9-year-old. 4 employees quit that company that day. Okay, now. If that was your husband, and I don't know if it's your husband, but he has his version of that story, we feel bad for that 9-year-old boy, don't we, Jill?
Yes.
But you don't love your husband enough to love him now as the man who went through whatever he went through because it hurts you. And I understand because it's painful, it's hard. But see, if more of us could learn that we have something to give that our partner never got, that's what I mean. He could be there for you in security too. Kathryn loved me through whatever caused me to be a narcissist. Genetic? I don't think so. I think I was raised to be one. I don't know.
Although I'm pretty sure our 5-year-old is a narcissist.
Is
So I think
genetically.
it might be genetic.
It might, like, who knows? But she loved me through that. She was
It
the
was not
catalyst.
easy. Jill, we don't say this flippantly. We don't say this, lightly. And we come down hard on people because we are very transparent and we are very honest and we are very candid. So I just want to validate the fact that no one will fault you for walking away from a compulsive, habitual, pathological liar.
And you said there was other things.
Other things, right?
Yeah.
But only you can make that choice. And you could, if you wanted to, you could choose to not quit.
I think you have a 100% success rate if you don't quit. I really firmly believe if you don't quit, you will win. And without losers, there's no winners. Blended families don't make it, girl. Second divorces, even without kids, statistics don't lie. third, worst. Now we're looking at fourth and fifth marriages now. I don't know if people are even aware of that. Great divorce is not a midlife crisis. It's of identity crisis. I don't want to waste the next 20 years. What if you could remember the good times, create more of them, help each other through it? And yes, he's in the program. It sounds like he's not using it. If they don't go on the calls, man, I can't breathe life into them. But you know,
Well, and if
and
they
if
get on
he
the
and
calls, then they lie to us. If he's lying to you, he's lying to us.
probably also the case, right? But what if you went the extra mile? I'm not trying to encourage you to join the program, but I don't know if you've read Kathryn's book. I don't know if you've gone into more content. I don't know if you've reached out in the community from women that are in the program. Like there is a lot of ways that you can try and get your feet wet. You know what I mean? And see what else you could do. Does that make sense?
Yes, I hear you. Thank you.
It's
You're
our
welcome.
pleasure.
Do you
Well,
feel do you feel attacked or do you feel okay?
No, I'm fine. And you know, in all honesty, I'm I'm on my second marriage. I'm going to be 65. I've taken time with our separation to see what it's like out there in the world, and starting over for anybody is hard. But at this age,
Oh,
it's awful.
oh, girl.
Absolutely awful.
Jill, I can imagine like
In my way of thinking, it's like, why wouldn't you try to make what you have the very best you can?
oh my gosh, I feel like you should fill my content right now. I love that you just said that. Like the end of the day, at the end of the day, one of the things that I always talk about is like when people are talking about quitting or people are talking about their partner having an affair, I'm like, all you have to do is grow. Like the world is lazy. Like, look, we've asked you guys to call 1-888-968-5635 what fuck 20 times, and 4 people have called in. Like, people don't want to grow. People want to be shit ass blame making, shame guilting, throwing like shame and guilt throwing and dumping because they don't want to fucking do anything but victimize themselves. You may be still in
I
a
know
spot.
he's in here with me. I had to drag him in here. Truly.
Well, put him on. Well, now I want to talk to him. Put him on.
Hello.
What's going on, Cass?
Yo, brother.
Terry McRoberts.
Terry McRoberts. Man, I haven't seen you in a minute.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I usually get on the calls a little bit late and
So
not able to get in there.
So what's going on?
I appreciate you giving your name and being honest. Good for you.
I talk to Dennis a lot.
Yeah, Dennis is my man. Dennis is like a mini me.
Dennis is very helpful to me, and I'm very impressed with him.
So, did you catch your wife what she was talking about? And thank you for that with Dennis, by the way.
Yeah.
But yeah. What do you think about your lying, your issue with betraying your wife and just being honest?
Well, like you said, I'm always trying to protect myself.
X, don't play the
You
game.
know, she
Exit.
comes up and asks me a question, I feel like I'm gonna get in trouble for it. You know,
It's a lie
it's like an automatic fucking.
It's what I said. Okay. Fuck, I hate knowing everything.
Yeah.
So your job is to bridge her insecurity. Okay.
And
So
I don't want a fucking divorce.
So then don't encourage her to have one. You tell the truth no matter what, even if she makes it terrible. If you have to live hell for telling the truth, you're a big man. Handle your little wife's 65-year-old emotions. I say that for a reason.
Yeah,
Said she's
I don't know if you
65.
remember me. I don't know if you remember me telling you that thing. That's my problem. I
No.
can't handle her fucking emotions.
I'm pretty sure I gave you your first call to come to the program, but
You did.
yeah. And the reality is, if more men could fucking handle their wife's emotions, not take everything so personal, especially when you're talking about day-to-day living life and what you're afraid to tell the truth on, man, you should know, like, well, that's not appropriate to lie. You comfortable talking about what you comfortable talking about what you're lying about?
It's just little stupid shit most of the time.
Well, what?
It really is.
Give me an example of stupid shit you're lying about.
Also, you said most of the time. That means some of the time it's not stupid shit.
No, but
Big shit.
we're starting step one. What's a stupid shit example of lying?
like yes, the other day, she came out and asked me if I had called somebody that she asked me to call, and I was in the middle of doing something, and I told her that I called and left a message, but
Oh,
I didn't.
Dude,
why would you do that?
dude, it's so easy to say I didn't get to it yet. Like you just,
I know. Well,
but here's the bigger problem.
okay.
The root isn't actually the lie. See, Helen, not Helen. Jill is focused on the fact that you're lying because that is real. You need to grow up. But the root of the problem is you don't know how to balance your schedule, maybe prioritize what needs to be done, do what you say you're going to do and follow through. That's the root. If you did that, you wouldn't have to worry about lying.
That's true.
I know. That's why we charge so much money. What's my favorite
I
thing?
know.
What is the
That's why I paid so much money.
what is the thing that would be a big thing? We might have to walk you through it with her right
I
now.
don't remember.
You don't remember? Now you're fucking lying to me. Don't you fucking lie to me on my phone line.
All the porn apps and the porn sites and wow, money is a lying thing. Yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So there's
Big thing. Lying about why he lost his job.
oh my gosh, everything.
There's big ones. There's big lies.
These are big.
And this is what I'm trying to say to you guys is the little lies because we have no repair. There's no trust here
So,
at all.
Jill.
The little lies are still triggering the big ones.
Hey, Jill.
And I need to know how to deal with it.
Jill, you don't need to deal with that right now. I want you to just give me your word that you're going to hold. But Terry, I'm trying to get Jill not to make any proceedings with the divorce, not to move anything forward. But I need your ass on the app and asking questions. It's a lot. You're lying to me, but more importantly, you're lying to yourself, dude.
You need to get on the call every single day.
You do.
Get on the call every single day. We have calls every day.
Yeah, we can walk you through every day. This is what I need to discuss. This is what I need to do. Because when you're lying. You can feel the fear.
I do.
I know. I was one of them. I know. So what you have to understand is you need someone. You said Dennis was great for you. I can be there. We have everybody. Kathryn, when she coaches, you take what you're going through and you learn how to walk through it. Because losing your job, I get why you'd be afraid to tell the truth. It's scary, especially at the ages you're sounding
But
like.
it's not about what's scary. You're lying about everything. Like, yes, I left a voicemail with that person. So it's not about what the subject matter is. It's a lying problem. But we have to go to the next people because we've got a bunch of people in the queue. But we want to see you on every
Calls
day.
more.
We want to see you on calls to be able to deal with this because this is an
I'll be
old
on there. I'll
good.
be on there with my hand.
Because you can break this habit. Cass used to lie all the time, and he broke that habit. So we've got 3 more people in the queue, and the sun is going down.
All right. Thanks for your time, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome.
You have to hit drop up above.
Thank
I
you,
think.
baby.
You're welcome. Michelle.
Oh, are you on? Michelle. Sorry we kept you waiting so long, and you were the one who was supposed to go next.
I tried to tell him.
I'm here.
You are about to file for divorce, it looks like.
Well, no, my husband actually filed for divorce on Monday, and I received a phone call from an attorney, and I couldn't get to the phone, so they left a message, and I was just a little confused. They just told me what attorney it was to call them back,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know if it was a scam or what, or so I didn't call back, and then I went into my email later on that evening, probably close to 6 o'clock, and I saw an email from an attorney, and then it said, petition for divorce.
Is your husband living at home with you, or are you separated?
He is not. We have been separated. On September 1st, I saw some text messages coming through while he was in the shower, and I opened them up, and that's how I found out he was having an affair with a woman that he works with.
So he's divorcing. You're separated. He is having an affair. Do you have kids?
We do. We have 2 sons.
How old?
They're already grown. One is 27 and one is 25.
Okay, so would you also say that a lot of his behavior is about changing his life? A lot of people call it midlife crisis. I call it identity crisis.
That's what I thought it was. I noticed a few months prior he was acting a little bit different. You know, he bought a motorcycle. He
Oh, yeah.
changed his clothing style, his hairstyle, everything just changed. And I thought, oh, midlife crisis. And I really didn't think anything else of it until I saw those text messages, because I thought we were happy. We were so intimate, everything. We were still doing everything together. There was no reason for me to think otherwise. And then, you know, when I found these messages, and this woman that he works with apparently knew he was married, because she says in the message, you know, she knew he was off limits. She didn't care. She wasn't going to back down. So when he moved out of here, he moved in with her, and he's been living with her since. And we don't communicate. We don't talk. Very rare that he'll text me because he maybe forgot a hat or a T-shirt or something that he may have left behind. But that's all he contacts me for. And so I was blindsided, because this is not what I want. And I've been praying for my marriage, and I just thought, okay, maybe he'll come around. But I have an appointment with the lawyer next week, and not that I want one, but I feel like at this point I need to protect myself. And, you know, we worked so hard for, should be going to our sons. That was the original plan.
So what would you say, if you could summarize where you're at right now, what would you say your biggest question is, Michelle?
My biggest question, I mean, I don't know. I just,
would it be about, like, how can I stop where we're at, this tailspin, and actually get it where I want this to go, back to being happy in love? You mentioned you were kind of blindsided, so I'm assuming that you want the life, and you don't want.
She's been praying that things would turn around.
Yeah, is that what you? If we could give you some steps there, would that be helpful for you?
yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I was hoping for.
I can hear your emotion.
Yeah, I hear it.
Do you want to go first?
Whew. Well, this is hard. I think it doesn't sound good, Michelle. The thing that comes to mind is he asked for space and you gave him space. And so in order for him to see that things are changing and that things have changed, there's a reason that he left. It's not just the midlife crisis, the identity crisis. There are multiple reasons that caused your husband to leave. And without having an opportunity to show him that those things are changing, he won't see that any repair has been done, because from what you're telling me, you don't speak. There's no opportunity to show him anything different. So his assumption is going to be that in the space that he took, you're still the same woman and it's still the same marriage. And if he went back, it's going to be the same mistakes. Now, if you don't want that to be the case, prayer is powerful, but you also, what is it? Faith without works is dead. So you also need to, whatever it is, and I'm not going to make you out yourself, but he would probably give you some reasons why he left. There's a reason that he had an affair. It's not your fault that he had an affair, but there are reasons. And if those things, those breaks in connection don't get healed, then he's not going to know that there's something to come back to. And if there's only space between you, he can't possibly see that those things have been healed, even if you've healed them, even if you've gone above and beyond to be a different woman that wouldn't cause that same thing to happen, whatever that was. The break in connection happened somewhere. He has no opportunity to see that.
So that's
right, baby.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I teach. So I would actually ask more questions before I get into what I would teach. But so I would like to say, like, you thought it was a surprise. Hey, baby. You thought it was a surprise. You've been praying for it. You knew that, you want more, and you actually slid something in there. So a lot of times, what people do when they're talking to us, and I haven't figured out if it's because you're trying to tell us in the way that build it up better or not, or just convince yourself. But you slid in, and we were intimate, right? So I think that could often be like, it makes no sense. We're intimate, but like, how intimate? How connected? I mean, I could probably ask 50 questions about your sex life right now and wonder, how connected was it? Like, was it just to do it, but you didn't really want it? Was it the kinds of things that he wanted to do? And I'm not saying that he's having an affair because of that, because go deeper there. That's like an easy one. If you go deeper into what Kathryn was talking about, of the disconnection levels, right? Quite often, just whatever he expressed in his needs. Maybe when he told you he wanted a motorcycle, He was trying to tell you why. But
And
what
you wrote it off as ridiculous. Just an example.
just an example. I'm not saying that you did that, okay? But he might have also been giving you truth. See, most of us don't want to, after a while, understand our partner and everything and all the reasons why. What if, in his mind, he was calling midlife crisis, but what if, since most people are defined by their spouse, right? I'm a wife or a husband, defined by their job, if they have one. This is what I do for a living. And I'm a mother or father. I have kids. That's it. That's not who people are. Because otherwise, when you lose all three of those, as you're experiencing right now with two of the three, right? Then what? You're nobody? What, should you just kill yourself? That makes no sense. Drink yourself to oblivion. So that's why I don't believe people have midlife crises, but crises? Crises. She's my Google, my AI. So what I think that you need to understand, Michelle, is if you can start to look back at what levels of disconnect and misunderstandings. I taught a guy today. I said, "What's your wife's favorite color?" And he's like, "Well, I don't know. It used to be pink." Well, fuck, man. How do you not know that? You know what I mean? If we start to understand we miss these opportunities to connect, connection is where it's all at. So when Kathryn's talking about the affair is not your fault, there's things that led up that you contributed that pushed that and made that happen. Right? And we get confused.
Yeah,
with
the affair
things.
itself is never your fault, but it
No.
is your fault that the connection broke.
Mhm.
Somewhere along the line, something happened that stopped filling your husband's cup, that made him feel lonely.
And that a motorcycle, another woman, or whatever these things are, they felt good for him. See, that's the identity crisis part. If you do what I teach you, man or woman, we have different people that teach us in different ways in our program. But like, if you do what we teach you, your cup is so full that you are just there and available for your partner in a
still
way
live
that's so
outside. I
loving
just
and
came in to
nurturing and
let Finn
exciting
in.
for them. You're exciting to talk to. So you'd have to go deeper
Pardon
and
me?
ask some of those kinds of questions right now.
He's still
You know?
alive, yeah.
Because when you start to
Go
go
pee. Yeah.
further and you think about how do
wait.
I do this now? He doesn't even want to talk to me. Right? That's easy. That's the easy part, man. I call that creating opportunities. I give you a few examples. You could send a text message in a different way, like an audio note or a video with a smile. Shit. You talk about intimacy being great. You could send a flirty one, a sexual one. You
Our
could.
kids just told us that we look cute out here.
Oh, that's cute.
Isn't that cute?
We love when our kids see us interacting and they're always watching through the window. Yeah, good examples, right? You could send a food delivery, favorite meal. All of these could add an invite where you want to.
Be careful that you don't have, and Cass might have said this already, but be careful that you don't have an expectation if you do these things.
Mhm.
Do it because you want to start reestablishing that connection.
Yeah, when you're starting to reestablish a connection, you're looking for every opportunity to get kicked in the face.
Because that other woman, the grass is not greener.
No, it's not. She's got her own problems. She's got her own issues.
Mhm.
He's not dealing with his own issues. We know that because he's definitely dealing with identity shit, right? Okay, which means this is why we see divorce rates climb higher and higher and higher. All you have to do when there's another person is outshine them, because that person, that woman, when you text too much, and I'm not saying text all the time, you're using all the avenues of opportunity.
Mhm.
That woman's gonna get jealous, man. She's gonna get jealous and insecure. And
Yep.
she's gonna be fucking complaining and bitching.
And that's not the goal. The goal is not to make that other woman jealous. It's
No.
just that's a fact that's going to happen.
But by you creating
if his wife,
opportunities.
who's not an ex-wife yet, is texting and sending food,
Mhm.
she's going to start to show some qualities that they're in there. It's just that these behaviors is what's going to bring them out.
So
They're already in there.
If you work on yourself and you grow, that person is not. Most people don't. The fact that you guys are all watching a live stream or listening makes you a little more special. It doesn't make you special. When you're special, you continue to grow and you don't stop growing. We still invest money into ourselves, coaches. We still create new tools and grow, right? I think we're about $750,000 invested in growth. Okay. So just about. So if you can be somebody who at least starts that journey, he has to look up to you and go, oh, maybe I missed something. And if he doesn't, he'd be crazy to live without you. And that's what he fucking is. But see, most people will give up too soon, Michelle. I've tried everything. No, but careful, girl. I got to interrupt you. I got to interrupt you. See, you're already going back to, I've tried everything. I haven't given up. You see, you're holding on to hope. I want you, the biggest takeaway I want you to get today is, how can I have faith in myself? I need to believe in myself. Meaning I don't just pray, I fucking do. God gives me purpose and I follow through, right? Because I'm telling you about creating opportunities. I give you 3 examples. I could give you 100, but like you're already like, but I don't know how. It's already over your head. I just told you, send them a fucking message, text message, send him a video, flirt with him, make one sexual, send his favorite meal over. Fuck, here's some more. Give him a song. Go back to whatever you connected
So
on
fill
when you
that
started.
space. That space that you gave him, start slowly filling it
Yes.
with you.
And
So
then
that he has thoughts of you because she is going to drop the ball. She's not his wife. You are. You need to be in that gap,
yes.
not her.
Yes.
So
And then
take it back.
and then he's gonna reject you. Good. Knowledge is power. You know what's gonna happen. Stop bothering me. I'll block you. He goes faster with the lawyer. Here's some advice. What do you need a lawyer for? You don't need to protect yourself. Use AI and search and protect yourself going in there. Judges favor people without lawyers. See, we think we have to protect ourselves. You have time. Get the lawyer when you need it. The lawyer can stall this thing like 28 months in most states. So why don't we stall it later and buy ourselves more time? See, we think out of fear, guys, and we don't get what we want. We think out of hurt because it sucks to feel this way. So we tell ourselves, I'm trying. I am relying on God. And that's why you missed it when I say, no, just create opportunities. And the first thing out of your mouth is, yeah, but like, I just don't know how. I just gave you another 3 examples on top of the first.
Are you gonna do them?
Making sense?
I am.
Awesome.
I don't know if he's gonna block me or not, but I'm gonna do it.
He might. And you know what? I have systems for that too. Fuck. Be someone spectacular and grow in public, meaning with people that you both know.
He hasn't blocked her yet. so-
Social media,
so
all that
let's
shit.
One step at a time.
Like-
Let's make sure that you create
He
opportunities.
took me off social media, and he has me blocked from social media.
And he
After
might.
28 years of marriage, like he just took me off.
And he might. But Michelle, you know what?
Bet you his jealous new girlfriend made him.
And I bet you his jealous new girlfriend's following you. Also, I bet you, which is going to be helpful for you, by the way.
Mhm.
Then I bet you all the people that you still know are still being normal people and following you.
Yeah, they'll talk to him about the things.
Oh,
that you're doing.
yeah. You know, like what I tell guys in the program is be the guy where when someone drives by and she's like, the girlfriend calls up the wife and is like, geez, she looks good. Get them to sell you. The biggest opportunity you have is others watching you grow and others selling you. Okay?
Okay. Got it. Okay.
All right. Good luck.
Go kick ass.
Looks like you're just down the road from us. So
Oh, yeah, you're San Antonio, looks like I think you're.
yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm.
great.
Thanks, y'all.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
It's our
it.
pleasure.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Quick
See
drop,
ya.
baby.
Thank you, honey. You always remind me.
Helen, we're gonna talk to Helen.
Hi, Helen. You're calling about building trust with your spouse, and you have a very unconventional relationship.
Hi.
Can you let us know?
Yeah, and I just want to say, I just came across your guys' podcast and everything, and I absolutely love them. It's kind of hitting at the right time, so I appreciate you guys. But yeah, so we've been together for 18 years, and we've been, here and there and everywhere. And I say we have a very unconventional relationship because it's not your typical, like, husband makes the most money and, the wife stays at home. We have a very reverse relationship where I am the breadwinner. Without trying, it just kind of occurred that way. And he took on the role of being at home with our kids and taking care of everything else so that I could focus on our business. So now we're at the point where the business isn't doing as well. So now he's had to go and he's had to take on a double role where he's also working. He's taking care of the kids as well, still taking on those roles so that I can focus on the business. What I say when I want to build trust is that we have gone through so many things where it's been, my family has meddled, my parents, where I was raised in a very traditional Mexican household with, it's all about the respect to the parents and the family and everything. And they didn't really take to my husband very well. So I've had to deal with that for the last 18 years where it literally just blew up in September. So we no longer talk to my family, unfortunately. And so it's kind of gone to the point where, like, when something happens or he tries to talk it out and he's great at communicating, I'm not a great communicator. So I wanted to ask Kathryn, like, how can I communicate with my husband? Because when these fights and these arguments happen, it completely just escalates. I mean, it goes from 0 to 60 where we're throwing out divorce at each other. We're throwing out, name calling and, you know, all the things in the world. And then it starts like a tit for tat, like you did this, you did that, I get this, you get that. Like, and I just hate it. And I know he hates it. And what sucks is we start that cycle all over again. We, you know, we'll get into these huge arguments. We'll try and talk it out. We'll have a couple of days. And then all of a sudden it just blows up in my face all over again, you know, and I just hate it. I don't know. I shut down, and then, you know, it comes into the thing. I love your guys' podcast, like the narcissist, you know, just not calling people a narcissist or gaslighting or whatever they are, kind of things. So I'm just trying to figure out how can I talk to him? How can I show him that, like, I respect him and he can trust me with his emotions and everything? I don't know. I hope that makes sense.
It makes sense. The first thing that I heard was that you said he's a great communicator and you are not a great communicator. You said that, right?
Yeah.
So when you say you're not a great communicator, I heard you say that you shut down. What else are you seeing that makes you not a great communicator?
I just can't express myself. So it gets to the point where it will start to say, you know, he'll say like, okay, well, I can give you examples of what has happened in the past. You've done this, you've done this, you've done this. And I'll say, okay, well, so, you know, you've done this. And he's like, when have I done that? And I just completely shut down. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know.
Yeah, scorekeeping problem more than a communication
Well, scorekeeping, and also just you're not actually listening to him. So communication isn't just about expressing yourself. Communication is about listening and understanding. So when he says you did this, and you did this, you might feel like you need to justify why you did those things because of something that he did. I used to struggle with that a lot. I still struggle with it. I process it now. And I listen to what it is that he's saying, because most of the time, if your husband is saying that you did this, this, and this, he's scorekeeping as well. And you probably did those things.
And there's some truth. Yeah.
There's going to be truth in what he's saying. And so what you want to do is you want to figure out the feeling behind it. So if he's coming at you in an attack of anger, anger is a secondary emotion. What is he actually feeling? There's usually some sort of pain behind the anger. And I want you to validate the emotions that he's feeling and get more curious about what it is he's saying. It doesn't matter if you did those things or if you didn't. What is the feeling behind him telling you? Is it disconnect? Is it betrayal? Is it hurt? Is it a broken heart?
Okay.
Because going back at him and saying, well, you did this. Okay, well, that's trying to justify the shitty things that you did. Trust me, I did that for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy for me to justify my shitty behavior. Well, I acted that way because you acted this way. But you know what? I still acted that way. So for you, Helen, you need to decide, do you care how he feels about the things that you did to him? Because you might not be a terrible communicator. You both are probably terrible communicators. It's a lack of connection. Sounds like you want to say something.
Yeah, I think you need to go deeper. So you have this unconventional relationship. Now, this would be true for any man, but his self-worth is being undermined right now, right? So even though you make a deal, the normal traditional deals, the one that you recognize you don't have, where
one person works and one person stays at home with the kids.
Normally he works, right? But in a situation like yours, that self-worth is still attacked, right? So if, let's just say, for example, we know that I love that you're a business owner. So you know that your business is suffering right now because you're thinking about your marriage too much, right? Yeah. Just, I can give you statistics, but you feel it. Okay. So even if it was him working, the intimacy, the connection is fading. Not just sex. I mean, everything. It's fading. Now we have these fights that we have all the time. The friendship, right? We have these fights all the time. Okay. So now work suffers more. Okay. Now throw in the fact that you're the provider and he's taking care of the kids, even though it's a deal and it should make sense. His self-worth, he's not a man. Right. So you say he's a great communicator. I bet you he's not. I bet you he's puking his feelings all over you or shutting down.
Well, she actually proved that he's not a good communicator. You did this, and you did this. That's not what a good communicator does.
Communication isn't stringing words together. And just because he's talking about the issues, the symptoms, doesn't make you a communicator. When you guys say you did this and you did this, you're talking about a symptom. I'm just going to use stupid shit. You left the toothpaste lid off and got toothpaste everywhere. You
never clean up your own mess.
Right. Stupid shit. You don't have sex with me. You don't want to have sex with me. Okay, those are all symptoms. Doesn't mean you're a communicator. If you know how to communicate, you know how to have conversation. You have conversations about the issues. If you do it right, you have less conversation about the issues. You solve your fucking problems here. So I'll use him and then I'll go back to you. He needs to learn who he is. I'm not sure if he's watching the podcast with you, but he needs to identify with, I'm okay with where we're at. How can I lift her? She's providing. It's a lot of the flip of what I would teach, as you know, from my content, right? It's just that he has to do it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the role and why you guys have it that way, but that's fine. That's your choice. It's your marriage. Now, you have to go in there more with understanding him from that perspective, right? I'll use sex because it's the easiest example. I don't feel connected. I work all day. That's what he would feel too if he was a man doing the work thing, right? And then we're dealing with all these other symptoms. Let it go. How can you go in there and empathize? What is it like? Fuck, he's with kids. Men are not even built to live with kids all day long. If he's got that ability, that's amazing. But like women are built for that, right? So what does it feel like to be screamed at by the kids all day?
I call it being abused by your children.
It is. They're little fucking narcissists. And then you come home and you're frustrated because numbers are down. And I'm just making one example. What if it's because you had a bad client? Treated you poorly, bad review. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like Facebook doesn't work, ads don't work. You don't know how to copyright. You're upset, you're frustrated. So you lose the ability to be that part of you that's feminine when you go home,
Mm-hmm. And to connect with your husband.
right?
That some of the things that you're missing are very foundational because you're asking, how do I communicate with him? That is, we want you to be able to have conversations. And yes, you do have to address issues sometimes. But if he doesn't feel, you said something about him not feeling respected. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
To a man, you don't actually need to blatantly disrespect a man. A lack of respect and edification
Still
equals
disrespect.
disrespect for
Yeah.
a man, not for a woman.
Did you hear that? And edification.
Yes.
So even if you don't agree, if you lift him, wow, I can't even believe how you handle the kids every day. That would be tough for me. Like, oh
Did you
my
ever
gosh.
see what I said on social media about men being like umbrellas? Did you ever hear that anywhere?
I haven't. No, not yet.
So a man is like an umbrella. An umbrella is meant to cover you and shelter you from the storm and the rain and the hail and all these things. It doesn't matter if you have a $5 umbrella or a $500 umbrella. If you don't lift it up, the umbrella can't do its job. So women are meant to edify and lift their husbands. It is our job. It is our responsibility, whether he deserves it or not. That is our role.
Mhm.
You can disagree if you want to, but then you'll be wrong.
So,
so-
and we can agree with you, but then we both be wrong.
Yeah. Right. So your husband, if you're not, so that's why I said a lack of respect. So in the absence of respect, in the absence of edification lies disrespect. Absence of respect and edification equals disrespect. So you might not be disrespecting your husband by the definition of disrespect, but if you're not going above and beyond to respect, edify, lift up, that in itself, the absence of that is disrespect. So some of the foundational principles, you just need to learn them.
And you're talking about, building trust. So like if you think about our version of what we teach, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about betrayal the same way. But when we talk about betrayal, so if you decide to cope with work more, shut down, maybe you guys are having too much wine, maybe he's ditching out with the kids, maybe he ditches out from the kids when you come home. These different levels are all betrayal of who you are as people, as spouses, as somebody who made vows, right? So if you want to build trust, you have to start looking at what are we doing that's actually disconnecting from our partner and turning away. That's why the R's on our logo turn towards each other. It's the very first thing. It's called the cascade of betrayal, but trust is all about all of these things. If you're getting divorce papers, they want a separation, they hurt you, they hit you, there's an affair. Betrayal is all of it. People betray themselves, never mind their wedding vows. And turning away from somebody. So you may say, I want to love you, and he's upset, or vice versa, and they don't talk to you, then you're turning away. So you look at all these different levels and you can rebuild the trust. So that could be homework for you.
Because I feel like, and I love that because I do, when we get into these arguments, I tend to completely just get super defensive because I'm thinking I'm doing the things you're asking of me. I'm trying to work on whatever it is because we tend to he wants to, and he knows because I say this to him all the time. I'm like, you just want to toss it to death, and I'm like, I hear you, and I understand where you're coming from, but maybe Kathryn, kind of like what you said, I'm really not acknowledging where it's coming from. I'm not acknowledging his emotions.
That's why he's talking it to death. He doesn't feel heard.
He's over explaining it because he needs you to understand his point. And I mean, I believe it. I have a lesson I teach.
Well, you used to be the king of over explaining and puking.
Yeah, I could keep Kathryn home for a week and just scream at her, and This is this.
Yeah.
What you have to know is you know. And I teach a lesson in my course. It's like, what time is it? Is what the lesson's called. Just answer the fucking question. What time is it? Or if she says it's 4 o'clock, just say, okay, it's 4 o'clock. Did you need something? Like,
Don't over explain.
no, the watch was made in England in 1912 and it came over a boat in 1926.
Blah, blah,
And we're
blah,
lucky
blah,
it
blah.
got
I
here.
asked
And
you
I
what
started to
time
get,
it is.
yeah, you start to get defensive and fuck, there was a hurricane, a tidal wave. And then you start to get your scorekeeping right. And you're like, and I got you the rose gold straps, you bitch. You see? Answer
You
the
probably
fucking
said that
question.
to me. You did give
I-
me rose gold straps at one point.
Pretty sure that's why I put it in the reset.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Was this helpful? We do have a women's program. I love the way that you asked your question and the way that, you know, it seems like you really care about your husband. I'd love to see you apply to work with me because I would love to work with you.
Yeah, I like I said, I kind of came across your guys' stuff and I was like, holy crap, this is genius. Like, I love that you guys are just Christ-centered and still just super real. And so I was like, this is actually how my husband and I are, and this is what we need. And so I so appreciate you guys. It did give me some good insight and just a good look at myself. And yeah, I would love to just look into it.
Awesome.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, thank you for that.
Go to morrowmarriage.com
thank
and
you
then click
both. Have
women.
a good day.
You too. Guys, this is going to be the last question that I take. I don't know if Cass is going to take another one after this, but I'm going to go put my chickens away and my goats. You can hear them making sounds in the background.
Yeah, we'll probably do 4 to 6 next Wednesday. We'll do 4 to 6 or something like that instead, hey?
4 to 6?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Central. We'll figure it out because it is getting dark.
Because of the sun.
Also, I have lights at the studio, but I have to bring them. I wasn't thinking about the sun.
Yeah, 4 to 6 would probably be better. Oh, go up, baby.
Oh
you
my
missed
gosh,
it.
there's
You
so
missed
many.
the last call.
Wait
No,
a minute.
this is the last one. There's
Okay.
no more.
All right. Right. Pharaoh, I think that'd be your name. How do you get past issues when you know you've changed? I'm confused with that question. Do you mean how do you get your partner past your
Yeah,
issues?
why don't you ask us your question?
Yes, please.
So I just recently talked to Kathryn on the phone. I want to know how to get past the loop, the vicious cycle loop. We have been I have been for the last 2 years. I've been changing a little bit about myself and my direction and whatnot, and my trust issues, kind of like what Cass has had beforehand. I want to know how to get through when I'm standing in front of my husband having an argument and, well, you say this, you do that. And then it creates the vicious loop cycle. Everything starts all over again. Even though I know I have not done that for like 2 years, but he still brings up the past. How do we get past that?
So I just talked to this lady. I recognize your voice. Nice name. That's not your name.
Yes.
But I recognize your voice.
I do like that name. Pharaoh sounds
It
cool.
is a pretty
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Pharaoh. It's like, oh, that's a nice name. So I'm going to let Cass take this. But just to keep you in the loop, I'm sure that you know that this is what I would have said. But you know how we talk about when like triggers, and he's obviously they've been married for a really long time. 18 years, I think, Pharaoh.
18.
Yes.
Yep.
And so we identified when things changed and why. And she used to be like you, making accusations. And he just lost it with the accusations, didn't care anymore. So because she's made changes for the last 2 years,
Mhm.
he's still, I did the same thing. I was stuck in the past. He still sees the old.
Oh, I love this question.
Mhm.
I love
The
this
old
question.
Yes.
How can you get your spouse to see and feel and recognize the new you when they're stuck in the past? Would be a fair way to put it. So I love this question. We did an event in November, and I was like, what if it takes 4 years? I wasn't talking about this, but I was talking about just in general, just getting the life that you want. You know, people want to make money. You think, oh, I'm gonna start a business, you know, and it doesn't fall from trees, man. You know what I mean? If you want to lose weight, if you're 50 pounds overweight, you're not just gonna lose it. And we often think it's been 2 years though. I've been going to the gym for 2 years. I'm working on these issues for 2 years. The behaviors aren't the same. So there's a few things you have to look at because that'll quickly get you to justify yourself, Pharaoh. Right? Like I've tried everything. I hate it when people say that.
Lou.
I hate it because that's not true. We're still creating things. We're still trying new things. We just had a new breakthrough at Christmas time. So it's impossible you've tried everything. Okay. But excuse me. Excuse me. So your very first thing is to think of, and this is, I don't know if you caught the beginning when we was talking about betrayal. When we make mistakes, typically some of our behaviors align with or are parallel to that same behavior. Okay. A little bit later in this talk show, I was talking about how if a man stops yelling, is loud, and he yells less like the distance is further, he knows what he's capable of, so it's not as much. I want you to apply those two things to yourself real quick. I want to just pose a question. Pharaoh, is some of the things that he's holding you accountable to for real? Just be super transparent. Are you still presenting some of that behavior? And afterwards, I'm going to tell you a little story.
No, I am not presenting those to him.
She
It
feels
is
them 5% of the
basically,
time.
I did not trust him. I always accused him previously beforehand, and for eight plus 10 years, I accused him of cheating or doing something else because of my lack of trust.
Okay, hold. So what you're saying, just so I can dial it in super clearly, what you're saying, Pharaoh, is that now you don't accuse him anymore. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, this is my
Not
point.
seeing it.
This is my point. I want you to go deeper now. So when you talk to him about anything, what he was doing today, you come from a place of love when you say something like that. Hey, baby, how was your day? Would you agree?
Yes, for the most part.
Yeah. But what he feels is 10 years of history. So the moment you defend yourself at all when he gets triggered, this is the same thing I talked about later in the call earlier as well, which was insecurity can bridge you. Now he's insecure. Insecurity we think is about affairs, you guys. That's the biggest line of bullshit society has fed you. Insecurity is about any fear someone has. He's afraid he's being attacked. So my question to you, and I'm going to reframe it again to you. Are you doing anything that's making him feel like that same attack is happening? And the moment you start to defending yourself, go to defending yourself or talk about what you do is right or great, use a scorecard, anything like that. You're moving away from the woman who has actually made those changes and actually to more of the woman who accused him again. And I'll tell you a story when this clicks for you.
It did click. It just did.
Okay, so I want you to think about this. The whole last year, if you watched our podcast, you might have seen this. It's like we were talking about how, man, we had some doozy fights, especially towards the end of the year. Okay. Like we're people who've done a lot of fucking work and marriage is on fire. What is going on? We were like, the devil can't come for us. Fuck Satan. But man, I tell you what, he's coming for us. He's trying. And when he couldn't get to us, when we won through this, he went for our work. He went through our clients, right? We had to work harder. Okay. But what happened was throughout most of the year, especially towards the end, I was like, man, girl, I think you're fighting with the old me. Like I thought we were done with this shit. What the fuck is going on? And we're not in a place where like I was listening to her, but also we're in a place where we can talk and I could actually have a question like that to her. Like, really? Yeah, what's going on? You know what I mean? And what we figured out was there was some PTSD for Kathryn. And so the moment she felt something like, let's say, an attack, like what was one example? One example was about, I asked how much we had in our savings, I think. And for some reason, Kathryn thought that was Ryan, not Cass, coming after her. But my behavior, I said, I reassured her, I understood her, and I tried to ask the question again and not explain myself, not the puking thing, but like, anyways, what we learned is my behavior, as we didn't get where I wanted to go with while I was trying to structure that, it was making her see the old me more. Okay? So
my actions are possibly letting him see
the old you.
He needs to be defensive of, or he needs to work on his defensiveness.
Well, he might, but
by the way.
Oh, that's awesome. Welcome, Pharaoh Locke's husband. The thing is, it's not, it is, he does need to, but that shouldn't even come across your mind right now. What I'm trying to coach you on is that the moment you start to realize there's a part of me that has not shown up the way I should have. There's a part of me that needs to atone for who I used to be. It doesn't matter if I'm different, if it still hurts him, right? Kathryn at Christmas time got out some pain that I hurt her with 10 years ago and even years later, up through the 6 years that
Keep
we're
in
back.
mind, so she was accusing him for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why he's still seeing it. So
Yes.
Your husband there, Joe.
Joe.
Yeah. Joe, you it actually says Joe right there, but also she told me her name was Joe on the phone today, her husband. So Joe, you do need to recognize that she's making changes, but it's not your fault that you're still seeing it because it happened for so long. But if you're still seeing it and you're not doing the work, so I was still seeing the old guy. I'm in therapy for complex PTSD. because I needed to do the work to be able to trust that the new husband was the new husband. So I'm not saying that either one of you is totally right or either one of you is totally wrong. I know that she was wrong for 16 years with all the accusations because there was nothing to accuse. Now, having said that, when she was accusing you, and now she told me a lot on the phone today. So for the first 8 years, you handled it pretty well, and then you just couldn't take it anymore. But then in the last 10 years, or the last, let's call it 6 or 8 before she started doing the work, you didn't really value her feelings, I think. So in the beginning, neither one of you knew what you were doing. She was accusing you all the time, which wasn't right, and you were probably fawning and placating instead of actually listening to her feelings and making her feel better for the insecurities and the trust issues that she had. It got so far now that when she did the work, you're like, fuck it. Why didn't you do this 10 years ago? Because you spent 8 years trying to get through this and then you blew up. So neither one of you handled this well. Is that fair to say, you guys?
Agreed.
I'd love to just
Yep.
just to throw this in. Somebody said to my wife, you have some toxic feminist traits, not listening to them.
Oh, you should
That's
see.
because we're holding them both
is-
accountable, you jackass.
She's been going back and
Fuck.
forth. People are telling her she's wrong. The whole time we've been talking to them.
Oh, really?
She's going back and
Looks
forth.
like you're not listening. You can't possibly
There's another
listen if
guy
you're
on there.
typing so much.
Dustin's
Good
telling her
God.
she's wrong all the time.
Good
A bunch
God.
of people are telling her she's wrong. She's just having a
All right. So
grand
Pharaoh
old
and
time on
Joe.
TikTok.
Pharaoh and Joe. Did you hear
Oh.
what Kathryn was basically saying? We are expected to be men and women in
Yeah.
marriage, and we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. Our parents didn't raise us right.
Neither one of you knew what to do.
You didn't know. But the pain gets in the way. So when you want to connect, it makes it really, really hard. I'm really impressed. If we got a man waiting 8 years before he blows up and shuts down, that is impressive. Because I guarantee you weren't shown that either. You know what I mean? Or you were shown fawning.
That's what I think. I think
Yeah.
he took a lot of her accusations, which
Yeah.
she now is taking responsibility for. He probably thinks too little, too late. But you need to be able to see the new woman that she's going to be.
Yes.
And I heard little birdie told me she wants to join my program. You guys just have to have a
Have a
conversation,
conversation.
and
I
then
wanna-
she'll have expedited results.
I want to teach everybody that's watching and listening today. I want to teach something valuable. This is something that I don't know that I've ever heard anybody say, but Kathryn and I teach on it a lot. Okay.
Oh,
When you
look,
finally
Bill,
get,
Papa Cass, prior ambassador Bill here. Hi, Bill.
what's up, Bill? When you finally get what you want from your partner, don't you dare say no. This is the example I use. You work really, really hard and you make that first $1 million, and then you're like, you know what? I'm not going to cash the check. I'm not going to use the money. I'm just going to
Too late.
frame
I
it.
wanted the
It's
$1
too late.
million last year.
Yeah, 8 years ago. Man, don't be a fucking dumbass, everybody. Don't be stupid. If you finally have somebody not accusing you, like in this situation right here, be grateful, you fucker. People don't have enough gratitude in marriage, and that's why you can't figure out your shit. You don't even know who you are and how you should be grateful for yourself. When's the last time any of you that's watching today live looked in the mirror and said, I love myself? Like, I love you. Like, do you even know who you are? Mostly not. That's why you're struggling in your marriage, because you're dependent on your partner's mood and affection for you. So you finally get someone who loves you, dude, you take it from your wife. I know her name's not Pharaoh, but take it. And if you don't know how, you probably don't know how to receive love or give it. And then you got a whole lot more to learn. Now, I know that's hard, guys, but you're talking to a couple who I used to emotionally, physically, and sexually abuse her. I had a restraining order. Do you think it was hard for her, or do you think your story still sucks? Because most people think their story is too fucking much. It's not. Stop victimizing yourself. There, still think it's toxic femininity? Fuck. Dumbass.
Oh.
Fuck.
Well, guys, you know what? I think this is the last call that we're going to take. We don't have anybody in the queue and it's getting dark. I got to go put the chickens and goats away. But
Wednesdays.
Pharaoh and Joe, I hope that you guys got something out of this, because Joe, I just want to validate that it's not easy to see the new woman, and there's going to be things that she can do differently. And Pharaoh, aka somebody else, I know that it's okay, Sarah. There are things that you can do better. We talked about it on the phone. This is the call I had literally just before. I was like, we have a talk show.
Oh, okay.
So there's things that you can do differently. He's obviously not accepting your changes. Cass used to say this. It was beautiful. He was like, if I don't receive it, you're doing it wrong. And it doesn't mean you're doing it wrong globally for everybody, but if your husband isn't receiving it, it's like speaking the wrong love language. And so you're going to learn. Hopefully you guys can have that conversation tonight about the program, because you're going to learn different ways to be able to connect with him, so that the first thing that he sees isn't the old you. he can see through that and see
Mhm.
the new you because you're going to do things differently and you're going to be able to influence. Or she asked about him doing the program potentially too. So we might end up hearing from both of them, but we're gonna clock off, guys, and go put our animals away.
Every Wednesday, I think we'll have to
Thank you so
adjust the time. You're very welcome. Wednesday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central, but we'll make sure we make announcements. And guys, 1-888, save the number 1-888-968-5635. Call in and let's go for it. You never get Cass and Kathryn. Never work together coaching unless you pay, well, actually a ridiculous amount of money for one-on-one.
Somebody just
So,
said it was nice to hear from you both. Yeah, well, it's nice to
oh,
be here
thank you.
together, you guys.
This is super fun because we love doing the podcast like a date for us, but here we get to interact with you too. This is like a double date.
Yeah,
Fun.
it's super fun.
Yeah, I liked it.
All right, bye
All right,
everybody.
guys. Thank you. See ya. Now we're gonna do the awkward thing where we have to hang up.
We
and
have to
slow
hang
down
up and we
drop
have to
links and-
stop all the lives. I'm not even gonna do it. I'm gonna go do the
okay.
chickens and the goats, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.
I
Thank
hope
you.
Leah from Canada doesn't come next time.
Leah from Canada.
Yeah, she's the one that was going back and forth.
Is that the Leah that we know?
No, we
Oh,
don't
she's
know.
from Leah from the States.
We don't know Leah from Canada, but no, it was the one that was fighting about with Dustin and Bill.
See you guys. Oh yeah, yeah. It's interesting that
My kids, chicken time. Lou, I want to get you to go with Dua. Go with Dua. It was bad chasing my chicken. Hi.
hello.
Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy.